My name is Rod Van Blake, author of Ancient Illumination, The Umbani Chronicles, and I'm joined once again by Jordan Purnell Jackson.
Hey, everybody.
He is the graphic artist and illustrator for the Ancient Illumination graphic novels and the soon-to-be-released Umbani Chronicles comic. He is also the illustrator and creator of Eve of Insurrection and Eve of Reclamation. He also did the illustrations on Jericho's Bane by Errol J. Knight comic. We are also joined by Andrea Rose Washington.
Hello.
She is the author of Adalithia, Elendil, and Almond Tree's Magic. So if you like sci-fi and fantasy, we have a plethora of works for you to go and check out. And today, we are talking The Sandman on Netflix, episodes 1 and 2. So spoiler alerts if you haven't checked that out yet. Based on the graphic novel by Neil Gaiman. I believe it's the Dark Horse and DC Comics that did that. Okay.
Should be about right.
Yes, there are currently 10 episodes. We're only discussing the first two. Did either of you find it weird that the first one was like 50 something minutes and the second one was 37?
Wait. I didn't notice. Well, I noticed the first episode was longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like 54 minutes for the first one. It's like 37 minutes for episode 2, which kind of makes sense, I guess, if you're thinking about it's more. The first episode was pretty much laying the groundwork and foundation of the story that we see. What's his name? Tom Sturridge, who plays Dream. He's the king of dreams, and he's about to, I guess, bring back the Corinthian, who's one of his creations. And just as he's about to bring him back, he gets snatched by some dude trying to capture death. Go ahead, Andrea. What are you about to say something there?
No, I'm gonna save my thoughts for after you do your recap.
Okay. So yeah, we see Corinthian, who's played by Boyd Holbrook. I've seen him in a few things.
He was in a Predator movie, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah, yes. The one we don't like.
Yeah, I know it was him.
Yeah. We see Asim Chaudhry as Abel and Sanjeev Bhaskar Kane. Apologies if I'm massacring any of these names. Charles Dance, which we know from Game of Thrones, as Roderick Burgess. Who else do we have in this episode? That's later. I think we get Jolie Richardson, who plays Ethel Cripps, the young woman who was with the Magus initially and then runs away. This is an interesting show. The way they kind of started off with Dream being captured by some dude trying to force death to bring his dead son back. So we go to 1916 in London initially in the first episode where he's captured, where they got this cult basically. I think it's kind of funny how he captured the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
He has this whole little seance and ceremony, and it's the wrong person you didn't capture. It's not even death. It's just he doesn't even know what to do. He's like, well, what can Dream give me? He's kind of at a loss.
And I love how Dream. He's just not talking. He's like,
yeah,
I'm not saying nothing to y'all.
Bothered me for a little bit because I want him to give a little sass back or say something to old boy. You know, he's got you stuck now. Just say something. Cuss him out. Like, I'm not gonna give you what you want. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna do something. You know, don't get sleepy.
Don't get sleepy. I'm gonna get you. And then now he's speaking too much. Now he's giving away how his abilities. Like,
yeah. What do you guys think so far about the introductory episode?
Jordan, you can go first.
Oh, okay, fine. I'm gonna have a positive review here, everybody. So, I mean, I enjoy kind of like just how we kind of jump into this world. They kind of start us off showing us the dream world, and that was cool. Good visual effects on there, and then I loved the kind of visual effects when he's being captured by Roderick Burgess and the cult, and just like that kind of energy and all that stuff. But I think throughout the entire episode, I am very much rooting for Morpheus or Dream to kind of get out, and like they're really constantly kind of reminding us, we're like, these are not good people, rich people just trying to do rich white guys playing with magic, you know. Just
yeah.
So Alex was his son, correct?
Yes,
Mhm.
Alex's son.
Yeah, Alex was. I felt bad for him. His dad was clearly a dick, and I was like, oh, Alex.
Yeah, he was cold.
Yeah.
I was under the impression you only had one son. Yeah, Randall was my
Yeah.
son.
That's my favorite
Alex
son.
is
I'm like,
sitting over in the
oh,
corner like,
awkward. Um, and then we get some kind of moments of kind of like, just like, I think we have Morpheus. We have his bird companion. Is it
Jessamy.
Jessamy? There we go. Jessamy. Show up and I'm like, Jessamy, hey, bird, tuxedo bird, you're gonna come in here. You're gonna rescue
Yeah, he ain't gonna do
Morpheus, and
Pour,
bam, Alex got
pour a little liquor for Jessamy. Pour
Jessamy
one on top.
almost had something, and then Alex came and got her. I was like,
Yeah.
come on. I'm like, oh no. So, yeah. So I'm like, I was really just like, I can't wait for Dream to just bust out because these people suck. They really do suck.
Anybody else find it weird that the whole time he's like just sitting butt ass naked in this glass
Yeah,
bowl?
they doing that thing where they're like, we're going to try to cover his genitalia when he's doing things. We're going to black out like his crotch. It's really funny that they're forcing it, but yeah, he's just butt naked, as gods do, when they lose their powers and tools. Or was it tools?
No, well, he never had. They took his clothes.
They derobed him.
Yeah, like they took his clothes and never gave him
Nothing.
any
They
other
didn't give
clothes.
him. They just.
And he had no access to his powers, so he was just
butt naked.
stuck there.
How'd they take his clothes off in like one shot? Because it looked like they took it off in one piece, one clip.
They just pulled the cloak off, but this man had
Yeah.
pants on. I'm positive he had
But
pants
he clearly
on.
had like a t-shirt and like a shirt of some kind and pants on as well. But when they show him laying down on the side and Roderick Burgess pulls everything off, it's all one movement.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess he is a magician. I guess that's the pulling the tablecloth off the table without messing up all the stuff on top of the table. Maybe that was the magic trick.
I have to say, from episode 1, I think I need more episodes before I can say I like this show.
Okay.
They're great visuals. They're great shots. They're of how they showcased everything in episode 1, of showing the passage of time, showing how the magic was used, how Roderick needs to die in a very horrible manner. Because I have to say, the actor who plays him, I don't know if I can trust him in real life, because he plays a bad guy too well.
He does.
And you play an asshole too well too. And it's just like, you are so almost one-dimensional bad guy. Like, you are very obviously, you don't like your son, and your son knows you don't like him or respect him, and that you're waiting for you only care about the child who died. We see it in the way that he treats Ethel. We see it in the way that he treats everyone around him. He sort of believes everyone else is beneath him. There was nothing redeemable about him, which is also fine because we're not supposed to like him in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Their storytelling of just this first episode, I've been interested in this idea of this book and the comic for a while, but I don't know, seeing it played out, it feels like it's the recipe for everything that I would love in a TV show, but it just wasn't. It didn't hit any of the spots for me, even though it checked all the boxes. I was watching it. It didn't feel like I was sitting on the edge of my seat, upset that the episode ended. It was more of, okay, one's down, one more to go.
Yeah, I liked it, but yeah, I believe the part with him just sitting there sullenly staring butt naked through the glass bowl, they kind of dragged that on a little too long for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting for them to get started, and I do think you're right that the guy playing Roderick Burgess is kind of typecast because he's basically Tywin Lannister all over again.
Oh my God, he is.
They just replaced Tyrion with this kid Alex now, because Alex is the unwanted son and Randall is the one that died that he pines after. He's going so far to try and retrieve his other lost son that he treasured, and it was strange. The episode was strange, and I was kind of wondering at things because they're holding him hostage, and of course, through time, they're gaining more money and power, and they're able to keep their youth in the midst of having him.
That's what I was gonna ask.
But a question was for me was what happened after old girl bounced with all of Morpheus's vestments and apparently his fortune? They still living in the big house like everything is cool. Like where was this other money coming from?
So I mean, they already had money, right? They were already he was already wealthy. So
yeah.
But I was also kind of confused with their motivations. Like, why are you still keeping him? Like, I was wondering why did Alex keep Morpheus after they went all through with the stuff with his dad, with Alex killing his father, still almost breaking him out. Like, I didn't understand why keep him in prison. Like, I feel like Morpheus wasn't bringing them any more good luck or fortune because of the fact that like everybody, Ethel took almost everything. Correct? What did they have left? From Morpheus, besides his physical body? What did they
the
have?
other thing was, I don't think Alex could trust him to free him, and because he refused to speak, there was no way to confirm whether or not. Like he kept telling him, like the only thing I really want, I could ask for power and money after all this time, like my father did, but I didn't. The only thing I want right now is to be free of you. So his only thing was, look, I can let you out, but you got to tell me, at least promise me, you're not going to off us the minute I do that. And homie just sat there silent because he even said something. He's like, when he goes to the little voiceover, should I have trusted him this time when he made his promise? I don't know. But he just sat there. He didn't. He didn't speak. He didn't say nothing. So Bo was like, okay. And I'm curious. I don't know if you caught it. Did Paul
did it on purpose.
Black guy did it on purpose.
The wheelchair on purpose.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
He stopped and looked back. He stopped. He like.
He looked back, made eye contact, and looked.
Yes, he did.
Made eye contact and kept walking.
That was funny. I was like, oh snap! I was like, hey.
The whole part about Alex, I agree. It didn't make sense for him to keep him in there after his father died because he never wanted him in the first place. And I think maybe it's because he lived in fear of his father and like lived as his mind was sort of shaped to always feel like he wasn't enough and whatever he was doing wasn't good enough, that he didn't think that if he let Morpheus out, that Morpheus would have spared him. But the thing was, he was about to do it before someone else said, what would your father do? And it's like, dude, you didn't like your father. Why are you honoring him? Like you didn't. Oh, and like I'm wearing It's the Daddy for Me shirt today.
Oh my God.
No, super ironic, but it's like, dude, you didn't even like your father in the first place. Why are you living to honor him if you didn't even like him in the first place? Like why are you continue to hold someone hostage that you wanted to free? You tried to free earlier. Your father didn't love you. Why would you continue to do something out of respect for your father when he had no respect for you?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense for the way they wrote Alex for him to keep Morpheus locked up, unless it was like he was so weak-willed, even with his father's death, he couldn't think for himself. Because I think Paul was like, let him go the moment he could. I would have let him go and been like,
Paul's not in an endless dream.
Yeah.
No, but Paul has to watch the man he loves in an endless dream.
Oh, now that's still suffering. Oh man.
I think from the examples that we got of Alex, he was basically the type of person who simply lets life carry him. He's not the one to take the bull by the horns and try and take command of his destiny and drive things forward. So his father was over him. Hell, young Ethel came in.
Yeah, she
and smoothed her way into the mansion after kicking everybody out when the party goers that were waiting to get in was about to straight punk him earlier. And I understand he's younger then, but throughout time, even as he grew up, he just kind of went with the way things were going, and anything against the grain, he wasn't going to make a forceful decision either way it goes. So he's like, you're still here. I want to let you out. You got to tell me something, though. I'm not going to make this decision myself. You kind of have to make this decision for me. And Dream is like, I ain't got nothing for you. I'm just going to sit here and wait. And he was...
I got time. I'm immortal, so he got time.
So until Paul, scoots the wheelchair wheel over containment, that's what sets off another cascade of events that happen. The Corinthian was an interesting character. I didn't get it at first when I was looking at him because I don't have either of you read the comic.
No.
No.
Okay, because I have not. I just want to get that out the way because I'm unfamiliar. So everyone listening, I'm speaking from a perspective of ignorance as far as the comics are going and the source material. But I was like, why is Homeboy this whole time like, I wear my sunglasses at night? He always keeps his damn glasses on. No matter what time of day it is, it's nighttime. And then
We find
he
out
takes
why.
them off and you get these freaky teeth in his eyelids. Like,
His mouth for eyes. It's
is he,
weird.
is he eating eyeballs with his eyes? Is that what he's doing?
I think I was thinking that. So wait, so he just gets close in and just goes chomp chomp.
No, he takes
He has a knife.
He brandishes a
Oh,
knife every time he takes out a
he
knife.
always has a knife. Yeah, he always has a knife.
And in the first scene, when you see him, he's bent over. He's wiping blood off of the knife when Morpheus comes to take him, basically telling him, the nightmares and dreams don't live in the waking world. He's like, but we can. And he was just about to get snatched back for Morpheus. Yeah. So
I have to say, Neil Gaiman, someone had like tweeted something out regarding what you said about like not having read the comic or the graphic novel or the book, and he was like, it doesn't matter. This is for everyone starting off fresh because apparently this is going like almost scene by scene by the comic apparently. So if you haven't read it, it's fine because some people have posted on TikTok like actual scene by scene, like the same scenes from the comic is in the show. So it's really the same storyline. And there's like nothing new that's in the comic that we're not really seeing.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Well, there are some things that I know they've changed because, of course, as per usual, we got a bunch of people bitching about certain characters being changed. But once again, I'm like, you have the source material right there. If you really want it, just go read that and don't watch the show and then leave it alone. I'm curious about both, so eventually I'll probably go check the comics out as well. It's just I've been more of on an indie kick lately, so I haven't really bought nothing from Marvel and DC comics wise in a couple years since I've kind of gotten to this creation game and seeing other indie comics creators. I've just been rocking with them the whole time. But I do have things that I'm still kind of curious about, and especially things that I've looked at on the streaming channels. I'm trying to think, I don't think we get Lucienne until episode 2, so we'll talk about her when we get to episode 2 in the second half.
She's like in the very beginning and like the very end of episode 1.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, right. When he finally wakes up and back home, we do get her. She's got like pointy ears, like she's kind of elvish or something.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
and she's like the royal librarian, and we find out that since he's been gone for over 100 years, that the dream world has been like collapsing and deteriorating. We see the castle that we see in the beginning of the episode has fallen to disrepair. The bridge isn't even there. They had that cool scene where you see these hands. They had built these hands that held up the bridge.
Oh yeah,
across the way. The hands are no longer there. You just see like the struts that have no bridge that are going over them anymore. And you see the castle is like super dilapidated. And as he opens the gate, the top of the spire falls over.
That was really funny that it was falling apart as he's opening the door. Like,
yeah, she was like, about that. Things aren't as you left them. And he's like, what do you mean? He opens up the gate. That gate looked huge.
Mm-hmm.
He had I do like the visual on this show. When they showed how big that damn gate was, and there were two like replicas of his mask on each side of the door of the gate, and it looked like there's no way a person that size would be able to open the gate with just one hand. He just kind of pushes it and it opens forward. And she's like, hey, you're not expecting paradise, are you? Because that ship has sailed. It's little ghetto back here now since you've been gone all this time. And then he learns that everybody, basically, not everybody, but a lot of the Desanins and the citizens of the dream world have left. So that was interesting. What did you guys think?
I reserve my judgment for when I see a couple more episodes.
So, but you didn't like the visuals at the very least?
No, it was nice. But I want to see if they can hold up to it throughout the rest of the season. And see, because I saw what the castle looked like in the very beginning. I liked it. Saw it near the end, and it was sort of heartbreaking to see what it looked like. But I also want to see if it holds up throughout the entire season, or if it was just like they spent all the money in episode 1.
Yeah. All right.
Jordan?
Well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back in a second and talk about episode 2 and see if we like where we're going later. Talk to you in a second. And welcome back to the second half of the Askari cast. My name is Rod Van Blake, and I'm joined once again by Andrea Rose Washington.
Hello.
And Jordan Purnell Jackson.
I think he's a little frozen right now.
He's frozen. All right, I guess we'll have to come back and see if he can come back. We're talking about The Sandman on Netflix, written by Neil Gaiman, based on the comic book. So yeah, episode 2, we come in and have Morpheus, the Dream, returns, and he gets to talk to Lucien, who's the royal librarian, and he's all about getting his vestments back. So the 3 things they took were his helm,
his ruby,
the ruby,
and his sand,
the bag of sand. And I guess those talismans of his help him, I guess, do what he does, because he says at one point, I don't know what I am without them. So obviously they're necessary. Hey, Jordan's back, looks like.
Back.
Yeah, he back. He back. We in here. So yeah, he gets his vestments. He wants to get his vestments back. The one thing I do find interesting about this show, and you guys can chime in and let me know if you agree, is that we have a lot of retreads here with mythological stories or themes that we've seen throughout the years since time memorial. We have the fates, the 3 fates that we've seen multiple times. The OG biblical story about Cain and Abel, which was weird here. We're going to, I haven't seen her yet because I didn't watch beyond episode 2, but we're going to see Death. I've seen the pictures and memes of her. And some people seem to be really happy with the casting. Others have been against it. For Death, we get another cast member from Game of Thrones. We get Gwendolyn Christie later on as Lucifer. The visualization and execution of him traversing through dreams was really cool when he starts to try and gather some things together so that he can get something to bargain with the fates. But before that, I believe, is when he goes to Cain and Abel to take back a gift that he had given them. What did you guys think of that part?
It was very interesting to see the representation of those 2 characters on the show. It was sad to see Gregory go, but he needed his power back. And it was also interesting to see that the fact that they just keep living the same cycle over and over and over again, Cain and Abel. Almost to an extent where it's just like, really? There's no growth? Like, you can't control your anger once? Like, you've never, like, when you get mad, you just resort to murder so easily? What?
Yeah, and it's in perpetuity. It just seems to me it's an endless cycle of him just killing him over and over again, and then waking him up like, hey, thank you for putting me in the shallow grave this time. Like, he just...
And it's like, one, why are you burying him? Why are you burying him in multiple spaces? Like, just use the same one over and over again. Why are you... I don't know. I don't understand how they fit into the story, truly. And I don't know if I like them. I don't know if I dislike them. They were just there. And I'm just like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
people.
What do you think about him traverse? Because he goes through, because basically he just used people's dreams to get what he needed.
What he needs, yeah.
He had to pick up a crossroads. He had to go through the Japanese cinephile who was supposedly in love with like British horror films.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was in a gallows, and it just dream after dream after dream. As he talked it through, they were illustrating it in the pictures that we saw, and he was just kind of moving from one scene to another. It was interesting to me.
The visuals on that was really nice. It was very compelling. Seeing him pick up the crossroads, seeing him, the gallows scene felt like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie for just like a split second. But seeing like the snake and then the egg, all of that scene sort of very visually something different than what I've seen before. The only difference with the gallows scene was when he fell and sort of fell into darkness, and that was different. But I've seen like gallows scenes before, but I've never seen someone reach down and like pick up the road in your hand and all of that. So it was so visually nice.
Him talking about dreams and nightmares seemed to have forgotten who their master was when he gets snatched into the water initially was funny too.
That was nice. That was very interesting.
Jordan?
I think he's still frozen.
He's frozen again? Okay. Yeah, that was interesting. The fates, like I said, it was kind of they've been done again. We've got the three witches that we've seen in other stories. It was just a new take on it. And them having to grant, not answer, because they won't, like Lucian tried to tell him, like, they never answer our questions. They always talk in riddles. You have to figure out, and they were sticklers for one question, one answer. Like, he didn't get no follow-up questions to the answer they just gave him. You only get to ask one question, and each of them will give you one answer, and that's it. I was tripping when he gave the gift of the snake out. Okay.
The fates were a very interesting scene. Now, I have to say, I thought they were going to almost be like genies in the sense of when he did his follow-up question, that was technically a second question. So I thought they were going to answer it, and then he would be out a question. Yeah. Almost like a slip of the tongue. But they held for him to the three questions, knowing like he had three intentional questions. Yeah. Though it was annoying that he just wasn't getting that he couldn't do a follow-up question. Like, dude, like, why are you not getting you can't do a follow-up question? Like, after the first time, whatever. The second time, okay, they're not going to slip up and tell you.
I was tripping too when he gave them the snake and they just engulfed it. I was sitting there like, sir, sir.
No, we don't mess with those.
Give me them fates. But sir, we can't get the fates. Give me them fates. I know you've seen that meme.
I did not like the snake. I'm ready for them to know. I don't like snakes. I didn't really like the fates. I'm just not. When she ate the snake, I was like, all right, we're done. We're done with you people. Wipe my hand of this because I don't know what y'all doing, but that's not okay with me. Disgusting. Nope. I'm not rocking with Mark because they are not rocking with me.
Yeah. So they try and tell him that the last time, it was very vague too, like the last time it was sold. He was like, so who has it now? And then where is this? So it was traded to a demon. And like, they weren't directly, so the answer one, it wasn't even good for him to go act on directly whatever they told him. Like, he was still going to have to do some searching no matter what.
And I don't understand why, like, could he only ever call on them once? Could he not do everything again and then like call on them again? And it's like, okay, what was the name of the demon it was sold to? Yeah. What is the name of the mother who passed it on to her son? What is the name of the magician who has the sand? Like, why couldn't he do the ritual again to find the fates again?
I think because he had only had one thing to trade at a time. So I think he can ask again. But then that was going to take him to go. It was like a bunch of side missions. He's going to have to go get something else that's intact or get powerful again so he could create something else that's valuable enough to come back to them. But I assume from like the trailer, we already know he's going to go down to hell because he knows a demon's in the possession of his Ruby, and I believe because we see Ethel Cribs, but I guess because they aged her up, it's a different actress playing Ethel as the old one. She's even changed her name. She's become like some exotic antiquities dealer. She's dealing all these like artifacts and weapons, art paintings and stuff. So she used the vestments to kind of move her way up in the world, but she also knew that she couldn't hold on to the ruby.
Yeah.
So she got rid of that because Corinthian starts pumping her for real for information when he comes through. Like, okay, where's the stuff? I know you got it. Don't be lying to me. And they hint at her son, the baby that she left with, that she left Roderick with, who wanted her to basically have an abortion. She's like, nah, she took off of him. I think that's the son that she passed one of the vestments down to.
Yeah.
And how it made him go crazy because we see him in the hospital and they make a big fuss about, because he looked older than his mama.
Yeah, he does. He does.
She hasn't aged, and he has. So she aged, but she hasn't aged as much as she should, obviously.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Wasn't the guy playing Johnny D, Ethel Cripps' son from Harry Potter?
Yes, he is Remus Lupin.
Yeah, he's the lycanthrope, right?
Yep, lycanthrope. I love him. I love Lupin. Me and him had a little bit more self-esteem, but that's a whole other conversation for Harry Potter.
yeah. So yeah, he's there. So eventually we know that they're gonna go get. Eventually, I think they have to give him back his stuff. It's just how and when he gets to do that. So it'll be interesting how they continue these different depictions of things that we all, in certain terms, are kind of familiar with, the themes of it, at least. So we're going to get death, we're going to get the demon, we're going to get Lucifer, but they're very different. The only thing I can see that's kind of similar was, what was it? Constantine with Keanu Reeves had a different Satan, but Gabriel kind of, she's giving me Gabriel feelings, kind of. Remember, Gabriel was traditionally a male in most depictions, but in Constantine, it was a female person playing. Is that Tilda Swinton that played Gabriel?
Yes.
Okay.
I have to say, so I think like moving forward, they're going to have to go after Constantine. He's going to have to go after Constantine first because that's the only name he truly has at this point.
But it's Joanna Constantine, right?
Yes. And so that's the only name that he has to go on. So he has to go after her. But we also find that the mother is the one who got rid of the helm, and she's the one who has the protection amulet now too.
Yeah.
So she was the last person in touch with both the amulet and the helm. So granted, while the ruby. So granted, while she may not know exactly where the ruby is at this moment, she is the last person for Constantine to talk to. It's not Constantine. For the Sandman to talk to, and then he doesn't know again that it's her. Yeah. And I think the only way he can find out that it's her is if he finds out what her name was. And I don't think he ever found out what her name was from Alex.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's the I think Johnny D has it somehow because she said he took the ruby, and then the ruby took him.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why he's forever in this. I guess they're trying to keep him in the hospital as like a psych patient or something.
No. I was saying the Sandman doesn't know who they are, though. I don't think like he never knew what. I don't know if he ever knew what Ethel's name was, and so like he would have to go back to Alex or them to find out who was the person who took it.
Mm.
So that's like the interesting question of like, unless Constantine can track back who she bought the sand from, and they can get it back to the first person, the only person who would know who had the ruby and the helm was Alex. And Alex is now in that deep sleep.
Well, yeah, but since he's in a deep sleep, he should have perpetual access to him because he can come.
Yeah.
He's got that forever sleep. He can just go talk to him whenever he wants to. Like, it's your turn to be my prisoner for however long until his body wastes away because he's not going to last for 100 years.
So
maybe he might because he's under his enchantment.
Like forever long I was held. That's how long you're going to be held. Poor Paul. I hope Paul doesn't last 100 years like that.
Yeah, Paul was already old, so both of
Yeah.
them were old, but Paul, yeah,
Like I hope he doesn't have to watch his person he loves suffers for a year, 100 years, just for them to end the suffering and then die.
yeah. I'm interested though. At the very least, the few breadcrumbs they dropped us, I'm interested to keep. Obviously, I'm gonna keep following. There's 8 more episodes after these first two. I'm gonna look through and see if there's any more divergence with respect to the time variance, because I did think that was kind of weird that the one was 50 something minutes and the second one was 37. But then again, maybe if they're going straight from the source material, maybe the story only lent itself to be that long when they
Mm-hmm.
scripted everything out and just like, well, here's what it is. And we don't want to just add stuff for the sake of adding stuff for time. And then that may throw other episodes following off, or I don't know. What do you think?
I think they are going by the source material, because looking at the episodes, it does show like episode 1 was adapted from Sandman 1. Episode 2 was adapted by Sandman 2. 3 was adapted by 3. 4 may be longer because it's adapted by 4 and 5. So it does look like they are going in somewhat order. There are a few where like episode 6 is Sandman 8 and 13. But yeah. But like 5 is 6 and 7. 5 is episode 5 is adapted from Sandman 6 and 7. So it's interesting how they're doing it. But yeah, I think they can only go so long on each episode depending on what they're showcasing.
Yeah. I'm going through the same thing right now with scripting out Ancient Illumination, hoping that like the first script we have is only, it takes place between the first 3 chapters, and I did that on purpose because the book is 30 chapters long. So I'm hoping if we have 10 episodes, 3 chapters per, if we can get all of them to be around 28-30 minutes, then they should flow evenly and not have like one that's like 15 minutes longer than the next episode, which I mean, I guess if it's not too far away in distance, it'd be all right. But this one, just looking at it, it kind of weirded me out at first when I was looking at it, like, wait a minute, because we were trying to gauge what to watch and how late the wife was going to be able to stay up. So we saw the first one was 50. She's like, well, I'm not going to be able to do 2 50 minutes. And I saw the second one. I was like, well, the second one's only 37 minutes. But maybe because it was the first one spent a lot more time kind of laying the groundwork. And it did seem to me like that time where Morpheus is just sitting there butt naked in the fishbowl.
Well, there is a time variant. So it seems like episode 2 is the shortest because 3 and 4 are 45 minutes.
Okay.
5 and 6 are like 54 and 53. 7 is 48. So from now on, it's at least 40 minutes and above.
Okay.
But nothing else reaches. Actually, no. One other episode reached 54, and then yeah. So yeah, episode 2 was the shortest.
Okay. All right. Maybe it was a fluke. Maybe it was just the way the material worked out when they were adapting it. Just happened to be that long, and they just kept it whatever format they were using. They didn't want it to change.
That is a true possibility. Stay really true to what you're showcasing, because I do know a lot of people on TikTok were showcasing the video up top and then like the comic at the bottom, and it was like literally word for word what they were saying on the show was what was written.
Side by side comparison. They lined up.
Yeah. Okay. Not for all the scenes, but for a lot of scenes they were showcasing. It was like word for word the same thing being shown.
Okay.
Very interesting, because you never really see that. You see, it's like, oh, we might be doing part of the storyline, but they're saying something completely different. So
yeah,
it's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, Andrea,
I don't know if I'm going to like this. I'm going to watch it. I'm hoping the next couple episodes are good. It theoretically is the making of a show that I would love, but not everything always,
yeah,
hits exactly what you're looking for.
It's always like a flip of the coin with you.
It is. And then I want to like this. I really do. But not everything always. We have Jordan back.
Yes, I'm back. I got reincarnated. You don't want to like this, Andrea?
No, I said I want to like this.
You want to like? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I want to like this. I hope I do. I like Neil Gaiman's. I like his stuff. It's just maybe this might be a medium where it's better for books or better in like graphic novel form for me than seeing it on TV. I don't know. Because like everything's there for me to love it. I just didn't feel the I gotta go to the next episode. It was more of a okay, next episode.
Is the pacing off for you?
It just doesn't.
Or is not enough drama? Or is not enough?
I have to feel like I need to connect to some of the characters on some level where I have to like them and like care about them in some way, shape, or form. Whether I hate them or love them, I just need to. I need to want to see their story continue, and I don't really care yet at this moment. I feel like I'm gonna love Death because of the short clips I've seen on TikTok of people posting her. I've already fallen in love with that chick, but like so far, I haven't really cared about what happened. So like I haven't gotten to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, this is important. We need to stop. We need to stop the nightmare because he's going crazy. I just haven't really connected to where I'm like, I care what happens to you.
Mm-hmm. I felt this. I feel that way. Like Corinthian.
His name, that guy.
Corinthian. I feel like I don't get a clear. Like Corinthian doesn't feel like a formidable antagonist. Like
I don't think
he's like giving henchman. He's a henchman. He's a henchman. So I'm like, I kind of feel like they could have pushed the boundaries of making him feel more threatening. I think removing eyeballs was just that was all right. But I wanted to see more from him, so I want to see where this goes.
Because I mean, the fact that Dream made him and was about to so easily unmake him,
right? He can do that with ease.
He wasn't gonna unmake him. He was just gonna exile him back to where he came from. That's what he was doing.
And so it's like. Well, I mean, but he does have the power to unmake him because you see that he did that with the gargoyle. So maybe he has to accept or want to be unmade because the gargoyle accepted it. But neither here nor there. Oh. It just felt like, he doesn't. He feels like a D-lister going after an A-lister. It doesn't really. You're not there, dude.
This is Captain Boomerang trying to fight Superman. What?
Like, what are we doing here? Make it make sense. So. I'm hoping I might find a character who I care about and I connect with, and I just I'm invested in their story to see it continue. But until that actually happens, where I'm invested, like either for them to die or for them to survive, because there are shows I watch just for someone because I hate the character and I want to see them have a horrible life.
Hey, that keeps you interested. That keeps you engaged. There's nothing wrong with that.
Roderick got off the hook too easy to me.
Huh?
I wanted
the head trauma wasn't enough. He wanted to get shot.
He just bumped his head.
Old men bumping their heads.
It was an accident. Alex didn't mean to kill his father. His father was literally about to kill him. Like, about to beat the brakes off of him.
I wanted something to purposely happen to him, not have it be some fluke mistake where he bumped his head and fell over. It just looked up and was like, "You're never getting out of there."
Like, I would have loved Alex to open up the cage and was like, "Oh, I can't do anything right, Father," and like remove the seal or open it, and then allow the Sandman to destroy his father like that. Like, I wanted something like that, not the.
You wanted him to have his Bokeem Woodbine moment from Jason's lyric. I'm tired of everybody telling me I'm messing up.
I wanted him to die in a very horrible manner to where he knew his son did this to him. Not accident, bang on the back of the head. Oh my gosh, are you okay? No, drowned. Like, oh, you need medical attention? I'll call the doctor tomorrow morning.
We would have liked Alex more had that happened.
I would have.
And if Alex had done that, then maybe he wouldn't be in.
He wouldn't be in 100 Years of Summer.
But oh well.
Making Paul watch him.
Poor Paul. Oh, I meant to say rest in peace,
I care about right now. And he was only in episode 1.
Paul did the right. Paul did all the right things. He freed.
What were you about to say, Jordan? Rest in peace, what?
Rest in peace, Gregory. By the way, I couldn't. I almost cried for the little dragon. No, don't show Gregory's eyes as he's being transformed into sand. I'm like, oh, yep, bye, buddy.
Yeah, they gave him in return. They gave him a little gold gargoyle right quick.
Yeah, I like that replacement.
Gervin.
And Kane killed him again. Like, dude, anger management classes do those not exist?
Kane got problems. He has problems. He can't stop
killing. It's the way we are. He's the first murderer. I'm the first victim. Okay.
That's such a sad, toxic relationship.
It really is. Dude, move away from your brother. So what? You keep coming back to life. Stop letting him kill you.
I think at some point we're gonna get the reverse happen. He's gonna
Oh,
have
that's
to
gonna be a great.
he's gonna have to get some get back at one point, and yeah, see how you like it.
Like,
Well, thank you guys again for discussing these things with me. We'll be back next week to talk of episodes 3 and 4 after we've watched them. Don't forget to check out Trekkie and Beyond.
a Star Trek podcast. Explore strange new worlds with us.
There we go.
With Andrea Rose Washington and Monica Pinkett. They will be talking Strange New Worlds. They're also available on Anchor, just like the Askari cast is. We're available on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and about 4 or 5 other places where podcasts are broadcast and streamed. And we will talk to you all next week.
Peace.